The 2026 running of the NASCAR All-Star race was certainly something. Was it good? Was it bad? I'm not sure. What I do know is that for the first time in its history, it was held at Dover Motor Speedway. Last year, it was held at North Wilkesboro Speedway. The Cup Series will not be racing for points, but rather money and bragging rights. It is the second and final non-points paying race of the season after the cookout clash at Bowman Gray Stadium back in February. Alongside the Cup Series, the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series and the Truck Series will also race at Dover this weekend. Both of their races will count for points. In addition to that, the ARCA Menard Series heads to Toledo, Ohio for a combination race with the ARCA Menard Series East. The first race of the weekend is the EcoSave 200, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race at Dover. Fun fact, this is the Truck Series' first start at Dover since 2020. They haven't raced here in 6 years. Speaking of returns, Clint Boyer makes his return to the Truck Series for the first time in many years. He'll be driving the number 25 Colleague Racing All-Star truck. In addition, Frankie Muniz is back in the 33 car after missing the race at Watkins Glen last week. We have 5 bushwhackers in the field, unfortunately. Kyle Busch in the 7, Clint Boyer in the 25, Ross Chastain in the 45, Christopher Bell in the 62, and Carson Hocevar in the 77. Destiny Spurlock looks to make her Truck Series debut after failing to qualify for the race at Watkins Glen. Alongside Destiny Spurlock, Tony Breidinger and Natalie Decker will also make starts in the field tonight. Your pole sitter is Kyle Busch. And before the race even got started, we almost had a nasty accident on pit road. See, the entrance to the garage area is on a slope, and teams have to be very careful wheeling their equipment up and down that hill. What happened was someone's pit box lost their brakes, and the crew member lost control of it going down the hill. In doing so, the pit box almost crushed NASCAR on Fox reporter Amanda Busick. Thankfully, she was saved by pit crew member Donovan Williams. Thankfully, both of them are okay, but unfortunately, Donovan will not be servicing his car tonight. Ouch. When the green flag flies, Kyle Busch is your leader. He'll go on to take a big lead at the start of the race. Unfortunately, Natalie Decker's problems start on lap 1, as she gets a restart violation to get her race started. Not helping matters is that her truck is pretty slow. She's barely able to hang on the race pace as the race continues. Besides that, the only noteworthy thing that happened so far is that Clint Boyer and Luke Baldwin touch fenders going into turn 3. The race so far has been pretty clean. That is until lap 40, when Destiny Spurlock loses control in turn 2 and almost saves her truck, but ends up in the outside wall. Ouch. What's amazing is that her team, MBM Motorsports, put her haters on blast on social media. Jeez. Unfortunately, under this caution period, not everyone pits, and your leaders are Brendan Queen Butterbean and Cole Butcher. This all sets up for a one-lap shootout to finish stage 1. Surprisingly, Kyle Busch rockets back to the lead on the backstretch, and he'll go on to win stage 1. At the beginning of stage 2, Kyle Busch is your leader. He'll go on to lead the most laps of anyone tonight. Fun fact, at one point, he'll go on to lead his 1,000th lap at Dover Motor Speedway in the Truck Series, which, yeah, I know it's padding his stats, but given how much of a struggle in the Cup Series as of late, I'll give this one to him. Unfortunately, Natalie Decker's day goes from bad to worse, as her truck's barely able to keep up with race pace, and she's 10 laps down. At one point, she gets a pit road penalty, which combined with her restart violation and her slow truck, causes her to have a mental breakdown on the radio.
Keep it on the bottom, we gotta make a pass-through penalty right here.
You guys, I'm trying my best to hold my shit together, but I don't want to keep doing this.
You're okay. We'll just do this pass-through and get after it.
We're going to have like 15 laps to go to this stage, and if you do not want to do it when you get back out here, you can bring it in, okay?
There's just so many shitty things that I could say right now, and I'm just trying to keep it together about the fucking director of the series.
Try to keep your composure and try to just breathe, and if you're not comfortable with this, come in. Let's remember what's on our truck and just bring it to the garage, right?
I feel like a fucking failure if I do that.
You're not. Let's do that. Drive it down the garage.
There's so many things I want to say, and I'm probably going to get fucking suspended. You have no idea.
Hey, just pay attention to the spotter. He'll get you into the garage. It'll be okay.
I'm sorry, Josh. I'm not going to come back to the truck series. Garrett can take it from here on out. I'm staying to the O'Reilly series. This series fucking sucks.
I hear you. I'll have a fresh bottle of water for you when you get out of the truck. Derek, we got to put something together for you for Nashville.
The amount of hate I'm going to get online for this is just going to be insane. I'm not ready.
Yeah, that's terrifying. What's perplexing is Natalie has raced at Dover before, in trucks no less, and I believe she's made an O'Reilly start at Dover as well, so I don't know what Natalie's issue is today. That being said, Natalie should take solace in knowing she's not the first driver or the last driver to rage quit during a race. Carl Edwards infamously rage quit the 2006 Budweiser shootout for very similar reasons as Natalie Decker tonight. Too many penalties. Kyle Busch will go on to win Stage 2. In Stage 3, Kyle Busch starts feeling the heat from Ross Chastain. Ross will go on to lead a bunch of laps in Stage 3. Outside of a couple single car spins in Stage 3, the rest of the race goes by pretty clean. Clint Bowyer unfortunately has a mechanical problem with 20 laps to go when his shocks break on him. Kyle Busch will go on to win the race. Tony Breidinger brings it home in 26th, 6 laps down. As for Colic Racing, they're keeping the momentum up from Watkins Glen with 2 trucks in the top 10. Corey LaJoie in 8th, Justin Haley in 10th. Next up is the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, the Bet Rivers 200. A couple things before we get started. We have one Ford in the field today, Logan Bearden driving the number 38 car. Unfortunately, this came right on the heels of AM Racing announcing that they're going to be shutting down their operation. Why is that a problem? Because AM Racing was the last full-time Ford team in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. So unless someone steps up and partners with Ford, or if RFK or Penske decide to come back to the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, this means that Ford doesn't have a place in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series for the foreseeable future. On the broadcast side of things, Dylan Welch will fill in for Adam Alexander for the second time this season. When the green flag flies, Ross Chastain is your leader, with Brandon Jones sniffing at his heels. Ross goes out to an early lead and will go on to lead the first 12 laps. Our first caution of the day comes out on lap 12 when Brent Cruz rear-ends Ryan Sieg and slows down. Parker Retzloff, in an attempt to avoid the accident, ends up rear-ending another car and spinning out in the backstretch. Ouch. On the restart, Brandon Jones will take over the lead from Ross Chastain, and he'll go on to win Stage 1. When the race resumes, Ross Chastain is still your leader. Brandon Jones is now stuck in the back after a slow pit stop, and Taylor Gray is now in second. Ross will go on to lead a majority of the laps in Stage 2. Besides a single car incident with Blaine Perkins on lap 61, the stage has been relatively clean. Raja Karuf kicks on the afterburners towards the end of Stage 2 and starts hounding Ross for the lead. Unfortunately, he runs out of laps and Ross is able to go on to win Stage 2. While all this is going on, Corey Day is slowly but quietly marching towards the front. He had a poor qualifying effort, but now finds himself inside the top 10 at the start of Stage 3. Jesse Love is your leader, with Raja Karuf in second place. Unfortunately, Raja's march to the front comes to an abrupt stop, as in turn 3, he gets loose and washes up the track, taking out Jesse Love. Ouch. When the race resumes, Ross Chastain takes the lead back, and now William Sawalish is in second place. Corey Day now finds himself in fourth place, still charging towards the front. Unfortunately for Raja Karuf, his day continues to get worse, as on lap 112, he's involved in another caution. This time, his Junior Motorsports teammate Sammy Smith makes contact with Raja and sends him for a spin in turn 3. Raja collects Harrison Burton, an innocent bystander. Oof. William Sawalage takes the lead on the restart, with Ross Chastain behind him. Garrett Smithley, who's making his 300th combined start across all 3 of NASCAR's top 3 series, isn't having a good Stage 3, as he's involved in 2 cautions. The first one is a simple spinner in turn 2, And the second one, unfortunately, happens on the front stretch when he blows his rear tire and destroys his fender liner. Ouch! Corey Day finds himself in second place behind Justin Allgaier with 10 laps to go. Corey starts hounding Justin for the lead, and he eventually catches him with a 3-wide pass with him on the top, lap car in the middle, and Justin on the bottom. Corey Day will go on to win the race. Compared to how Corey's season started to where he is now, he has shown massive improvement, and it's incredible to see his progression on the track. Time for ARCA Night in America. That's right, folks. The ARCA Menard Series heads to Toledo, Ohio for the running of the Owens Corning 200. This race will be a combination race with the ARCA Menard Series East. It's race number 6 of 20 for the ARCA Menard Series and race number 4 of 8 for the ARCA Menard Series East. A couple things before we get started. 28 cars are in the field tonight, the largest field Toledo, Ohio has seen in a while. Caden Quaffle, related to the other Quaffles in racing, will make his ARCA Menard Series debut. Isabella Robusto blew an engine in qualifying. She'll have to start from the back. We have 200 laps in this event. It'll have 2 competition cautions. The first one coming out on lap 75, thereabout. Your pole sitter is Max Reeves. He'll take the green flag and lead the first 6 laps. Unfortunately, Max will not hold the lead for very long as Tristan McGee attempts to make a pass on him on the inside, gets Max loose, Max gets out of shape, cuts a tire, and goes for a spin, which brings out the caution on lap 7. When the race resumes, Tristan McGee is your leader. He'll go on to lead the most laps tonight. Isabella Robusto is on the move. After starting dead last, she's worked her way up inside the top 15 by lap 15. On lap 46, we have a 3-car pileup in the foam barriers. Andy Jankowiak, Tacoma Koga, and Rita Gorlet all get stuck. Oops. After a quarter of the race is complete, your leaders are Tristan McGee, who won the race at Hickory, Carson Brown, who won the race at Phoenix, and Jake Bowman, who's your current points leader. Our next incident happens after the competition caution. On lap 94, Rita Golette goes for a spin in turn 4. This puts Max Reeves back on the lead lap. Isabella Robusto finds herself inside the top 10 while all this is going on. Our final incident happens on lap 112 when Isaac Kitzmiller runs into the back of Jeff McConey and gets him loose. Not sure why the caution was thrown for this, although I suspect the reason it was thrown is because Isaac starts puking the guts of his radiator all over the racetrack, and he has to come on the pit road to get it fixed. Max Reeves tries to get back to the lead. Unfortunately, his car loses power temporarily, but he's able to fire it back up, but he'll drop back to 11th place by the conclusion of this race. The dominant car all day has been Tristan McKee. He'll hold on to get the win in Toledo. Since we're halfway through the ARCA Menard Series East season, here's your top 5 in points. Your points leader is Tristan McKee, who has a 7-point lead over Max Reeves. Third in points is Isaac Kitzmiller. Fourth in points is Jackson McLaren. And fifth in points is Craig Pellegrini Jr. And now it's time for the main event, the All-Star race at Dover Motor Speedway. Hey, a couple things before we get started. Dover is kind of a funny choice for the All-Star race if you think about it. If you think about previous venues, Charlotte, North Wilkesboro, Texas, Bristol, and even Atlanta now, they all have lights. Dover doesn't have any lights, and as a result, they need to host the race in the middle of the afternoon rather than at night. Zane Smith's pit crew won the Pit Crew Challenge. We have a couple spinners in qualifying, including Ricky Stenhouse Jr., who does an almost identical spin to Jimmy Johnson's qualifying spin from 2006, and Denny Hamlin goes for a spin. But despite that, he wins the pole for segment 1. Wait, segment 1? Okay, before I get ahead of myself, can I talk about the way this race is formatted? It's a little funky. See, it appears someone, whether it be NASCAR, Dover Motor Speedway, or SMI, whoever, decided that Dover should still be a 400-mile race, results be damned. As such, the open race, which is 2 75-lap segments, has every single car in the field, regardless if they're locked into the All-Star race or not. When segment 1 is complete, the top 26 finishers will do an invert at the start of segment 2. The actual All-Star race, the main event, if you will, is a 200-lap sprint, which is only open to those who qualified for the All-Star race, whether it be open races or they were locked in already. Yeah, this race is going to be really weird. This race is also Fox's final race of the 2026 Cup Series schedule. While they'll still continue to broadcast the Truck Series and the ARCA Menard Series for the rest of the year, the Cup schedule will not be on the Fox channel. Instead, Amazon Prime picks up the next 5 races of the season, starting at the Coke 600 and ending in San Diego. That's going to be fun. At the start of segment 1, Daniel Suarez, AJ Allmendinger, Cole Custer, and Cody Ware will all have to start in the back of the field. Denny Hamlin leaves the field the green, but he'll lose the lead to Brad Keselowski in turn 2. Todd Gilliland, meanwhile, starts slipping and sliding towards the back of the pack. Unfortunately, him doing this causes mayhem, as Ryan Preece turns down onto Todd and causes a nasty pileup. Ryan, it's called a rear view mirror, buddy. Use it. Ryan's car burst into flames after it backs into the outside wall. Oh my goodness. The red flag gets displayed to clean up the mess. Unfortunately, some of the cars that were involved in that pileup are Kyle Larson, Ryan Blaney, Daniel Suarez, and Cole Custer. Kyle Larson and Ryan Blaney, thankfully, were already locked into the All-Star race, so they're going to spend the rest of the day getting the cars fixed up for the main event. When the race resumes, Brad K is still your leader. He'll go on to lead 19 laps. Unfortunately, after Brad lost the lead, he'll continue to fall back. He'll be 7th by lap 55. William Byron worked his way up to 2nd place, and Bubba Wallace and Tyler Reddick are 3rd and 4th, respectively. On lap 62, a bad omen opens up. As it turns out, there's going to be tire problems today. Carson Hocevar's tire shreds, and he smacks the wall in turn 4. Everyone comes in the pit except for Bubba Wallace and Denny Hamlin. They're on worn tires, everyone else is on fresh tires. Bubba Wallace takes an early lead, and everyone behind him starts fanning out 3 and 4 wide. 3 wide at Dover is very tricky. 4 wide is suicidal. And unfortunately, doing that causes problems, because on lap 73, the caution comes back out, this time for a big pileup on the front stretch. Rally Herbst makes contact with Alex Bowman and spins out. John Hunter Nemechek was also involved. This caution ends up ending segment 1. Bubba Wallace is your winner. Unfortunately, the driver in 26th place at the end of segment 1 was John Hunter Nemechek. But because he was involved in that caution, he will not be your leader in segment 2. At the start of segment 2, SVG and AJ Allmendinger are your leaders. AJ will take the lead on lap 2 and will go on to lead the next 24 laps. Unfortunately, we have a caution on lap 6 when Ross Chastain turns down onto Brad Keselowski coming off of turn 2. Bubba Wallace with nowhere to go ends up T-boning Brad K. Ross, it's called a rearview mirror, dude. Use it. SVG and AJ Allmendinger have been racing each other hard in segment 2. Unfortunately, this is all about to come to an end because on lap 15, SVG goes for a spin in turn 3 after getting loose underneath AJ. Tyler Reddick will take the lead from Allmendinger on lap 24. He'll retain the lead for the rest of the segment. Aside from Ty Gibbs blowing a tire on the front stretch, the segment has been calm. Tyler Reddick will go on to win segment 2. Now it's time for the All-Star race proper, a 200-lap sprint to the finish. As we've seen for the first 2 segments, tire fall-off is going to be a problem. We have an All-Star caution on lap 75. Denny Hamlin, once again, is your pole sitter for the main event. Daniel Suarez, who was involved in that caution back in segment 1, is your fan vote winner. From the open races, we have 6 cars who qualified for the All-Star race itself. Connor Zillage, he'll start 5th. Eric Jones, he'll start 7th. Michael McDowell, he'll start 9th. Alex Bowman, he'll start 10th. Ty Dillon, he'll start 13th. Noah Gragson, he starts 14th. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., he'll start 16th. And AJ Allmendinger, he'll start 20th. When the All-Star race begins, Denny Hamlin is your leader. He'll lead the opening 2 laps, only to lose the lead to Chase Briscoe on lap 2. Chase will hold on to the lead until lap 41 when he gets held up by lap traffic and Tyler Reddick passes him. So NASCAR 25 is real-world accurate after all. Tire problems are popping up again around lap 48 when Ty Gibbs comes on the pit road with a shredded tire. Uh-oh. Unfortunately, the cars that were involved in accidents in the first two segments that were already locked into this race are not having a good day. The highest running one was Kyle Busch in 14th, but otherwise, the rest have been hanging back. Blaney, Larson, Suarez, they've all been stuck between 26th and 20th place. Denny Hamlin starts going for the lead around lap 65. He'll complete the pass for the lead on lap 76 right before the All-Star caution. Tyler Reddick will drop 2 positions, losing second place to Connor Zilisch. So, what do I think of the All-Star race so far? Here's the thing, right? The on-track product itself, I think, is pretty good. You know, for Dover standards, it's been fantastic. The issue is, this isn't the regular Dover race. It's the All-Star race. And that's where a lot of the disconnect is coming from, I believe. If I didn't know any better, I would have said this is the 2026 AAA 400 at Dover. But it's not that, is it? No, it's the All-Star race. And the on-track product, unfortunately, does not reflect that. Everyone comes in for 4 tires and gasoline. Connor Zilisch, who is running second, unfortunately, has a pit road penalty for too many men over the wall and will have to start in the back. Denny Hamlin is your leader on the restart. Connor Zilisch, unfortunately, thanks in no small part to not being a front runner, is stuck in the back and will have to claw his way back to the front. Joey Logano loses a tire on lap 40 and spins in turn 1. Unfortunately, the damage is bad enough that he's done for the day. Joey will join Ty Gibbs and Kyle Larson, who are also out of the race. Chase Briscoe takes the lead for a bit on lap 149. When this happens, Toyota has 4 of the top 5 spots: Chase Briscoe, Denny Hamlin, Tyler Reddick, and Derek Jones. On lap 169, Tyler Reddick's good day comes to an end as he slows down and almost loses control. He goes on the pit road to investigate, and as it turns out, he has a broken serpentine belt. He'll take it behind the wall. Denny Hamlin steals the lead from Chase Briscoe on lap 173. While this happens, Connor Zilisch finds himself in 5th place. White flag is out. Final lap here at the All-Star race. Joe Gibbs Racing has made Dover Motor Speedway their personal playground for the last half-decade or so. Denny Hamlin won this race last year, and it looks like he's going to do it again. As he comes off turn 4 for the final time, Denny Hamlin will win $1 million at the All-Star race in Dover. This is Denny's second win at the All-Star race, his first one coming in 2015. It's also Joe Gibbs' first All-Star victory since Kyle Busch in 2017. Here's your top 10 finishers from the All-Star race. In first place is Denny Hamlin. In second place is Chase Briscoe. Third place is Eric Jones from Legacy Motor Club. Fourth place is Austin Dillon. Fifth place is Connor Zilisch. Sixth place is Austin Cindric. Seventh place is William Byron. Eighth place is Michael McDowell. Ninth place is Alex Bowman. And rounding out the top 10 is Bad Brad Keselowski. If I were to give this race a rating, that's a good question. If we're going off just the on-track product by itself, it gets a B-, maybe a C+. Because for Dover standards, the race was as enjoyable as the one from last year, if not more so because there was no rain. However, as an all-star race, this thing gets an F. Think of any highlight reel the All-Star race has made in the last 40 years. The Pass in the Grass, One Hot Night, Dale Jr.'s win, Casey Kane's fan vote win, Kyle Busch versus Kurt Busch, Joe Gibbs Racing battle on track, Jamie McMurray's win in 2014, Carl Edwards destroying his car on a burnout. All this stuff that the All-Star race has provided, and Dover had none of it. And the reason is because the All-Star race has had an identity crisis for the last 10 years. And that's not to say NASCAR isn't trying, but the problem is anything that made the All-Star race unique is now in regular NASCAR Cup Series competition. New paint schemes. Well, every week the drivers have a new paint scheme. Segmented racing. Well, we got stage cautions. Different aero packages. Well, NASCAR's been trying aero packages for God knows how long. All these things that made the All-Star race a unique product is in the Cup Series. So it kind of begs the question, well, what's the point anymore, besides money and bragging rights? Do I want the All-Star race to go away? No. That being said, if NASCAR wants to keep it interesting for the fans, they need to do something. I have a suggestion. You're not going to like it, and I'm sure no one at NASCAR has the balls to do it. Put the All-Star race at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Why would you do that? It's a super speedway. Well, that's exactly why. Think about it. Last year at the Quick Estate 400, there was a big pile-up in the opening laps that took out more than half the field. The drivers that were left, which were like 15 to 20 guys, put on some of the best plate racing I've ever seen. Now imagine the All-Star race, which already has 20 guys in the field. Imagine them doing battle at Atlanta for $1 million. That would do gangbusters. So, where are we off to this weekend? Well, let's take a look and, look at that. It's Memorial Day weekend, meaning it's time for NASCAR's longest race of the year, the Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. 400 laps, 600 miles, 4 stages. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. The biggest news of the weekend is that Catherine Legg, the driver of the number 78 Elf Cosmetics Chevrolet, will be attempting to do the double. She'll run the Indianapolis 500 in the morning and come to Charlotte to run the Coke 600 in the afternoon. It'll be an impressive feat of driving if she can complete all 1,100 miles. Alongside the Cup Series, the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series and the Truck Series will also race at Charlotte Motor Speedway on Friday and Saturday respectively. In addition, the ARCA Menard Series West will have a race at Colorado Speedway on Saturday. Amazon's got the NASCAR Cup Series for the next 5 weeks. I cannot wait.